Ladies and gentlemen, tennis fans from around the globe, and specifically to the millions of hearts beating in the Philippines and across Asia, stop what you are doing. We have just received the official draw for the 2026 Australian Open, and to say the tennis world is in a state of absolute shock would be the understatement of the century. The brackets are out, the lines are drawn, and the headlines are already burning up social media feeds from Melbourne to Manila, from New York to London. We were expecting drama. We were expecting intrigue. But nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted a first-round collision of this magnitude. The news is official. The news is confirmed. And the news is absolutely earth-shattering for fans of the underdog narrative. The pride of the Philippines, the rising superstar who has clawed her way into the top 50, the lefty sensation Alexandra Eala, has been handed the ultimate test. She has not drawn a qualifier. She has not drawn a fellow mid-rank contender. In a twist of fate that feels scripted by the tennis gods themselves, Alexandra Eala has drawn the number one seed. The world number one, the undeniable powerhouse of women's tennis, Aryna Sabalenka, in the very first round of the Australian Open. This is a David versus Goliath matchup of the decade. This is a scenario that keeps coaches awake at night. On one side of the net, you have the ferocious, unrelenting power of Sabalenka, a woman who has dominated hard courts, a woman who eats pressure for breakfast, and a champion looking to bulldoze her way to another title. On the other side, you have the grit, the determination, and the rapidly evolving game of Alex Eala, a young woman carrying the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders, stepping onto the biggest stage of her life to face the biggest boss in the game immediately. Let's contextualize this for a second because the gravity of the situation cannot be overstated. We are talking about the opening round. Usually, the top seeds are given a warm-up match, a gentle ease into the tournament against a lower-ranked wildcard or a lucky loser. But the computer has been cruel, or perhaps it has been brilliant. It has thrown Eala directly into the fire. For the Filipino tennis community, this is a moment of collective gasp. We have watched Alex Eala grow from a junior champion at the Rafael Nadal Academy into a legitimate WTA professional. We just saw her break into the top 50. We saw her incredible performance at the Kuyan Classic, taking down seasoned veterans like Donna Vekic not once, but twice, proving that she belongs with the elite. The confidence was sky high. The momentum was building. And now she faces the ultimate wall. But let's flip the script for a moment. Is this a disaster? Or is this the greatest opportunity of her career? Think about the narrative. If you are going to make a statement to the world that you have arrived, you don't do it by beating the world number 80 on court 17. You do it by stepping onto Rod Laver Arena under the bright lights, staring down the world number one, and refusing to blink. This is the match that could define a career. This is the match that transitions a player from promising talent to global superstar. The internet is already divided. Critics are calling it the nightmare draw, saying Eala's Australian Open dreams are crushed before they even began. They are looking at the stats, Sabalenka's serve speed, her winner count, her experience in Grand Slam finals, and they are writing the obituary for Eala's campaign right now. But the believers? The believers are seeing something else. They are seeing a Sabalenka who carries the immense weight of expectation. They are seeing an Eala who has absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. A lefty game that can disrupt rhythm. A fighting spirit that doesn't know how to quit. We're going to dive deep into this. We're going to break down every single angle of this matchup. We will look at the tactical mismatch, Sabalenka's raw power versus Eala's tactical counterpunching. We will discuss the psychological warfare of being the top seed facing a dangerous, unseeded floater. We will analyze what Eala learned from her recent victories against top-tier opponents and how she can translate that into a game plan to dismantle the Sabalenka machine. Do not change the channel. Do not scroll away. This is not just a tennis match. This is a collision of trajectories. The established queen of the court versus the princess looking to steal the crown. The world is watching. The Philippines is praying. And we are here to analyze every single heartbeat of this breaking news story. The 2026 Australian Open has just delivered its first blockbuster, and we are only on day 0. Buckle up, everyone. We are about to go deep into the analysis of Alexandra Eala versus Aryna Sabalenka. The shock is real. The hype is real, and the reality is setting in right now. All right, let's peel back the layers of this onion. To understand why this matchup is sending shockwaves through the sport, we have to look at the divergent paths that have led both these women to this precise moment in Melbourne Park. First, let's talk about the Titan, Aryna Sabalenka. Coming into 2026, Sabalenka isn't just a tennis player. She is a force of nature. We know her game. It is built on aggression that borders on violence. When she hits the ball, it stays hit. Her serve is one of the most potent weapons in the history of the WTA Tour. When it is on, she is virtually unplayable. She takes the racket out of her opponent's hands. She dictates the point from the very first strike. As the number one seed, she enters Melbourne not just hoping to win, but expecting to win. But heavy is the head that wears the crown. Being the top seed at the Australian Open comes with a specific kind of suffocation. Every player in the draw is gunning for you. You have a target painted on your back the size of the court. And historically, Sabalenka fights two opponents, the woman across the net and herself. We have seen her struggle with rhythm in the early rounds before. We have seen her get tight when a lower-ranked opponent refuses to go away. Now, let's pivot to the challenger, Alexandra Eala. The trajectory of Alex Eala has been nothing short of cinematic, a product of the Rafa Nadal Academy. She has been sculpted in the fires of Spanish clay court discipline, but has adapted her game beautifully to the hard courts. Being a lefty is her X factor. In tennis, the lefty spin, especially that cross-court forehand hooking into a right-hander's backhand, is a nightmare to defend against. Eala is coming into this tournament with arguably the best form of her life. Let's look at the facts. Just days ago, at the Crillon Classic, she defeated Donna Vekic, and that wasn't a fluke. She beat her again in a warm-up prior to that. Vekic is a heavy hitter, a silver medalist, a player who hits a similar ball to Sabalenka, albeit with less velocity. The fact that Eala was able to neutralize Vekic's power, absorb the pace, and redirect it is the blueprint for how she has to play Sabalenka, the tactical battlefield. So, how does this match actually play out on the court? This is where the deep dive gets interesting. If Eala tries to out-hit Sabalenka, she will lose. Period. You cannot stand toe-to-toe with Aryna Sabalenka and trade baseline bombs. That is playing right into the lion's den. Eala's team, her coaches, her strategists will know this. The game plan has to be disrupt and dismantle. Eala needs to use her lefty advantage to pull Sabalenka off the court. She needs to use the slice. She needs to vary the height of the ball. Sabalenka likes the ball in her strike zone, waist high, fast, and rhythmic. Eala must deny her that rhythm. She has to hit high, loopy balls to push Sabalenka back, then slice low to force the big woman to bend her knees. If Eala can make Sabalenka uncomfortable, if she can extend the rallies past 4 or 5 shots, the error count for the Belarusian might start to climb. The mental aspect, the nothing-to-lose factor. Psychologically, the pressure is 100% on Aryna Sabalenka. If Sabalenka wins, the world says, of course, she's a number one seed. It's business as usual. But if she loses, it is a catastrophe. It is front-page news. It is a disaster for her ranking points. For Alexandra Eala, the dynamic is a complete opposite. She is playing with house money. Nobody expects her to win this match, except perhaps her inner circle. That freedom is dangerous. A young player with talent, swinging freely, with no fear of failure, is the most dangerous opponent a top seed can face in round one. We have seen it happen in Grand Slam history time and time again. The top seed comes in cold, a bit tight, maybe looking ahead to the second week. The underdog comes in hot, fighting for every point, fueled by adrenaline. And let's not forget the crowd. Melbourne has a massive Filipino community. The Pinoy power in the stands will be deafening. It might feel like a home match for Eala if she wins the first set, or even if she keeps the first set close, the crowd will get behind the underdog. Rod Laver Arena loves upset. If the crowd turns, Sabalenka can get rattled. We've seen her get frustrated with crowds before. Eala needs to harness that energy. She needs to smile. She needs a fist pump. She needs to bring the crowd into the fight with her. The implications for Asian tennis. Zooming out, the significance of this match for Asian tennis is monumental. Since the days of Lee Na and Naomi Osaka, the continent has been looking for the next consistent global superstar. Eala has been the chosen one for the Philippines for years. Facing the world number one is her graduation ceremony. Even a competitive loss here raises her stock. But a win? A win changes the landscape of tennis in Asia overnight. It would inspire a generation. It would prove that height and raw power aren't the only ways to win in modern tennis. That IQ, heart, and tactical brilliance still have a place at the top of the mountain. We also have to consider the first-round shock phenomenon. The Australian Open is notorious for early upsets. The courts can be fast. The heat can be brutal. If this is a day match, the heat favors a fitter, more agile mover. Eala has spent her life training in hot, humid conditions. She is a grinder. If she can drag Sabalenka into deep waters, into a third set under the baking Melbourne sun, the physical advantage shifts. Sabalenka relies on explosive power, which drains energy. Eala relies on efficiency and movement. The verdict on the matchup is an unlucky draw. Yes, you cannot sugarcoat it. You work hard all year to get into the top 50, so you don't have to play the top seed in the first round. It is cruel. It feels unfair. But champions do not complain about fairness. Champions look at the draw, see the hardest path, and say, "Bring it on." This is the mindset Eala must adopt. She cannot walk onto court thinking, "I hope I don't lose badly." She has to walk out there thinking, "I am going to shock the world." Her recent form suggests she has the tools. Her mental fortitude, honed at the Nadal Academy, suggests she has a belief. For Sabalenka, this is a trap game. She cannot overlook Eala. She needs to come out sharp, impose her will early, and not let the underdog breathe. If Sabalenka gives Eala a foothold in the match, if she lets Eala believe she has a chance, we could be witnessing one of the greatest upsets in Australian Open history. So where does this leave us? We are standing on the precipice of the 2026 Australian Open, and the storyline has already been written before a single ball has been struck. The tennis gods have given us a blockbuster. They have given us drama. They have given us the ultimate test of character for both the established queen and the rising challenger. For fans watching this, I want you to understand the rarity of this moment. In sports, we often get caught up in the later rounds, the semifinals, the finals. We forget that sometimes the most electric moments happen on day one or day two. This match, Eala versus Sabalenka, is must-see TV. It is the kind of match where you set your alarm clock for 3 a.m. It is the kind of match you tell your friends about. To the Sabalenka fans, you should be nervous. Not because your player isn't great, but because the variables here are dangerous. A lefty, a rising star, a packed crowd, the pressure of number one seeding. It is a volatile cocktail. To the Eala fans and the millions of Filipinos rallying behind her, do not lose hope. Do not look at the ranking difference and despair. Look at the heart. Look at the fight. Remember that tennis is not played on paper. It is played on a rectangle of blue acrylic and concrete. Anything can happen in 2 sets. A rolled ankle, a bad serving day, a moment of brilliance. The margins at the professional level are razor thin. Alexandra Eala has earned her right to be on this court. She has earned her right to look Aryna Sabalenka in the eye. Regardless of the result, this match is a victory for Eala's journey. If she loses, she learns what it takes to play the best. She sees the level she needs to reach. If she wins, she becomes a legend instantly. We will be covering this match extensively. We will have play-by-play updates, post-match analysis, and reactions from the press conferences. But right now, in this moment, let us just appreciate the spectacle. The Australian Open has delivered a shock to the system. The brackets are busted. The predictions are out the window. I want to hear from you in the comments below. This is the most important part of the conversation. I want your raw, unfiltered predictions. Question 1. Does Alex Eala win a set? Question 2. Can she actually pull off the upset of the century and knock out the number 1 seed? Question 3. If Sabalenka survived this, does this early scare help her or hurt her for the rest of the tournament? Let me know your score predictions. Are we looking at a 6-2, 6-2 dominance by Sabalenka? Or are we looking at a 7-6 for 6-4 thriller for the underdog? The Filipino fans, I want to see your flags in the comments. The Sabalenka army, I want to hear your roar. This is why we love the sport. The unpredictability, the drama, the sheer human element of two warriors stepping into the arena, one fighting to keep her throne, the other fighting to take it. As we count down the hours to this showdown, keep it locked right here. We will be bringing you updates on the practice sessions. How are they looking on the courts? Is Eala nervous? Is Sabalenka hitting cleanly? We will have all that intel for you in the next video. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the most shocking draw of the 2026 Australian Open. The stage is set. The players are ready. The world is watching. Alexandra Eala versus Aryna Sabalenka. Round 1. It doesn't get any bigger than this. My name is your name/channel name, and I will see you in the next update. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's get ready for some world-class tennis.